fucking cunt. Hello. So as you probably don't know, if you've clicked on this video, it's probably just random. I've recently done a speed awareness course about 3 or 4 days ago because I was a very naughty boy and got caught doing 58 in a 50. It was actually on my car, not on the in the car, not on the bike. I don't actually know if they offer the same course for bikes as cars. I know there are separate road safety courses for bikes, but surely speeding's the same thing, whatever you're in or on. But yeah, so I thought I would just share my experience. So yeah, I got caught doing 58 in a 50 on a road I know like the back of my hand, very much like this one, a bit faster road, but it was pure. I wasn't speeding to get anywhere quicker, or I wasn't speeding for enjoyment like I might be on the bike. It was pure and utter lack of attention. I don't even remember specifically, but I was probably just following the car and not looking at my speedo. Because I know exactly where the speed cameras are on that road, so it annoyed me a little bit. I must have been half asleep, which isn't any better than speeding, to be honest. But hey ho. But yeah, so I got the intention to prosecute letter, which gives you the choice. Do you want to take 3 points and £100 fine, or do you want to do the course and pay the course fee of £100? So strangely enough, I had some holiday to take, and I quite like having a clean license, so I thought I'd book the day off and do the course. So I did it. When you get the letter, when you choose what you want to do, you get to go on the website, and it will show you all the various locations in your area or your county that do the course. There wasn't one anywhere actually that near me. I was about 12-15 miles away, but I selected to do it and booked it up in the delightful city of Basildon, just on the Holiday Inn at the Festival Leisure Park, if anyone knows it and cares. But you go in, you walk in, sheepishly go up to the guy at the kind of the hotel reception and say, hello, I'm here to do a speed awareness course. I've been a very naughty boy. Please spank me and send me in the right direction. You sit down, wait for the course to start. You sort of, when I went in, the reception was full of like random people, like single people, not couples or families, and it was pretty obvious that the majority of them were there to do the course. All with a mildly guilty looking expression on their face, barring a couple. But yeah, so the course started on time. It's run by two, I don't want to say teachers, lecturers, or it's run by two individuals. In this case, two middle-aged men. And there's about 5 units they go through. You sit down, go back a bit. So they sit you down. It's like there was like 5 or 6 groups around the table. So yeah, you walk in and sit down. You sit around a kind of islands of tables, so you're facing other people on the course. It's not like a lecture theatre or a classroom where you might be facing forward. There's a reason for that later. There's maybe 5 modules they go through. It's sort of hard to tell. They sort of just jump from one to the other without really explaining. I didn't really take any notes or anything like that, and I can't remember what all of the 5 units were, but some of the more obvious ones were there would be a unit on casualties through speeding. So, how many people have been killed, how many people seriously injured, how many people non-seriously injured. And they make you participate in a group you're in and come up with answers. So one of the ones they did was, okay, sit your group, tell me how many people in the UK you think last year were killed, critically injured, and non-seriously injured. And we have to come up with figures, and then we all call them out to the guy. And it's sort of, that was the sort of theme for it all. So whatever we were doing, so there was the casualty numbers, there was braking distances, which, as everybody in the UK knows, are nonsense. They're from the 70s, I believe, or you know, some part of history where brakes didn't work, cars were heavier, no ABS, blah 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 blah. They said that on the course, but you know, I get why they do it. It's to demonstrate that if you are speeding, the distance which you stop, even if it's only by a few miles an hour, is significantly more. The actual figures that are given, you can just throw away because they don't work. Any modern car, 99% of all cars on the road could easily outbrake what they're saying we could brake at. The bike could easily outbrake it in the wet, let alone anything else. There was, yeah, so there's casualty numbers, braking distances. Another one they went through was hazard perception. So they put a photograph up, again in groups, we'd go through looking at it, and we would have to decide how many hazards there were. It's pretty basic stuff, and then, you know, call it out in the group and discuss it, blah blah blah. I didn't find that bit particularly useful. Another module was to do with, I've forgotten.
A few inches later.
Okay, another module, I'm not going to remember all of them, but another one, actually quite important one, was identifying speed limits, which I did find a little bit useful, even though I only did my bike test a couple of years ago. There was a few bits of information, and sort of they clarified a few bits that I haven't really thought about for a long time. And when I did my bike test, the theory I just did on my own. So I read a book, did the test and passed. Didn't find it very hard. I didn't really pick up too much from that. Obviously, when I was riding around, yeah, you know, there's speed limit for experience, so I know this is a 30. I know the road, so that kind of helps as well. But there was points about, you know, the whole lights, street lights, they indicate it's a 30 unless you're told otherwise. There was an interesting bit about city centres and 20 mile an hour zones that, you know, I've probably been through them 100 times, so I don't really pay attention. That they are, if you go in for a 20 sign, it's 20 everywhere until you see a no longer 20 sign, which I'll put up if I can find. And this is something I don't really think about. There aren't many 20 mile an hour zones actually where I live. Southend Seafront has one, but that's just one road. As soon as you come off it, it's not a 20. And there was a couple of other aspects to the course, so I think I've gone through 4 units. I can't remember what the others were. They sort of blurred into one. The course, the people on the course, they were a very mixed bunch. So yeah, there was between 20 and 25, maybe 30, I don't know, but around that sort of number. I didn't even see half the people because they're sitting behind me. They were very mixed. They were mostly men, maybe 3 or 4 women, and yeah, 25 men, for example. They were mixed in many ways, so you could just tell by how people were dressed. There were people that were in a suit, obviously going straight to work after the course. Builders, you know, as you'd expect, you know, or age. The ability of the group was quite mixed as well. There were some, and I don't want to sound too dickheadishy or snobby or pretend I'm particularly intelligent, because I'm not, but there were a couple of fucking morons. I mean, like, dangerously morons, that didn't know national speed limits at all. No idea. Didn't know that lorries were restricted. Didn't know that if you're towing, you're restricted. You have a different speed limit, and so on and so forth. Which I like to think most people on the road know this, but clearly not everyone does, especially the national speed limit. That worried me quite a bit. That particular was a girl who was maybe in her mid-20s, very gobby, chavvy kind of girl. Liked to hear the sound of her own voice quite a lot. There was a guy there that as well, so he was doing a hazard perception type thing, so you're just looking at a picture, picking out the hazards, and we was looking at a sort of kind of suburban road with street lights. They were set back, you know, there was a road, a section of grass, then the path, and then the street lights were there, like behind the path, you know, a commonplace. They can be in front of the path or behind the path, but they were a good distance away from the road. And he said, you know, So has anyone else got any? And he said, yep, the street lights. There was like a pause, and then everyone started laughing, thinking it was a joke. Because he said it in a kind of way that could have been interpreted as a joke. Even the facilitator said, "Oh yeah, ha ha ha." But no, they're not a hazard. You shouldn't be riding on the path, especially not 10 foot in front off the road. And this guy, instead of just like laughing it off, and you know, most people would have assumed he was joking had he tried. He got really arsey and said, "Well, it might fall down." And the guy was like, well, "No, the street lights very rarely actually just fall down unless they're hit or something." And this guy was just going off on one. It's just a matter of opinion, then, isn't it? It's your opinion and my opinion. He's like, "Are you serious? You think a street light, the potential street light, you know, I grant you, theoretically, it could happen. But bearing in mind, most street lights are made out of metal. They're very quick to repair them if they are damaged. The kind of gust of wind you would need to blow one over would be beyond anything seen on Earth." But yeah, I couldn't believe it when he was trying to argue that was a valid hazard you should be cautious of on the road. Like these streetlights, they could fall over at any point. There were a few other comments like that as well, which, because I mean, don't get me wrong, the majority of the group were fine, you know, a reasonable sound of knowledge, and they were just caught speeding like by accident or whatever. But there were some really big holes in the level of knowledge among kind of drivers on the road in the UK. And again, I don't mean to sound snobby, I don't know everything, far from it. But I know the basics, you know, I know this is a national. But yeah, so it lasted 4 hours, I don't think I mentioned that yet. It was a bit tedious in places. There was a 15-minute break in the middle. You know, there's two facilitators. One was pretty good, and the other was average. And the only reason he was average was that particular Chavy girl that I spoke about. I mean, she looked like she lived in Basildon. She didn't look like she commuted far, and sounded that way. No offence to everyone in Basildon, I'm sure you're lovely. Just don't rob me. She was getting a bit gobby and a bit lippy, and he didn't handle her very well. I mean, it's ridiculous that he should need to in an adult course, but he sort of wound her up, and she got worse. It's just like, I just wanted to tell her to shut the fuck up, get on with it so we can go home. But yeah, overall, did I learn anything? I learned a couple of bits. Is it going to have a drastic change on the way I drive or ride? Bearing in mind, I rarely speed in my car, and that's where I got caught speeding. I got caught through lack of care, lack of attention. So, you know, it might help. At the moment, I'm constantly driving, riding with a bit more attention on speed cameras than I was, because I don't get to do another course, so I get caught again, it's straight away pointed on my licence. So, you know, it may have a minor effect. The fine was the biggest deterrent. I mean, the course was boring, that was a deterrent for him to do it again, but I wouldn't get the course the second time anyway. Not in 3 years. It's every 3-year cycle you can do a course. I've seen some people say that they learnt a lot from it. I didn't really feel like I learnt that much. It was more the money and the inconvenience which has annoyed me. But, you know, if I get caught again, I get caught. On my bike, is it going to stop me going out and having fun on days like today when it's just a bit warmer and drier? No, it's not really. I mean, even the facilitator that was better was more kind of relatable. He even said, you know, the important thing is not to get caught. So a lot of it was to you know, we learn how to identify speed limits, where there's likely to be speed cameras, and you know, the obvious thing is schools and somewhat, and what they mean. It usually means there's been an accident, it's met a criteria, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's not going to stop me having fun. I'm not an overly aggressive rider by any stretch. You know, I go too fast sometimes, but I don't make a. I say that I'm speeding right now. Again, exactly what I was doing when I got caught. Just following the cars ahead. We'll see. Yes, I am. Just slow down and be a good boy and not a hypocrite while I'm doing the course. But I did say I did do speed on the bike sometimes. But yeah, it wasn't awful. Not particularly enlightening, but there was a couple of points I took from it. And I got a free pen and a cup of tea. Expensive fucking pen and a cup of tea, 100 quid, but hey ho. But yeah, I just thought I'd give my experiences on it. Don't speed, you don't have to do it, I guess is the moral of the course, and you're 100 quid richer. 100 quid you can spend on something better, like fuel for your motorcycle or car if you're so inclined. Bloody learners, let them learn about the speed limit. But yeah, I'm going to leave you there. Thanks for watching. If you're half interested, feel free to subscribe. I don't really have many, so you know, you'll be one of an elite group. I may send you some private pictures of my underwear. I might even send you underwear if you're really good. Cleaned or soiled, I'm easy. But thanks a lot. Ta-ra.